give the opening to this video. Pretty much this video is to show and indicate how you can go ahead and recondition your engine block, Alusil engine block with a Mercedes, Porsche, Audi on your own without having to send it out and spend I don't know, $1,000 or plus, a couple $1,000 to have the process done. So I wanted to show an easy way to do it yourself. I got the information from an online message board, Ren List, and I just followed the process of what was laid out there and decided to make a video for you guys to follow. This was done New Year's Day, actually, New Year's Day. But yeah, I'll show you the video. Here it is. Yeah, one more thing I wanted to say. I actually went and used a M113 non-supercharged engine block, and I'm going to take, I did take my internals from the M113K supercharged engine block and transferred them over to the non-supercharged. It can be done, just keep in mind the oil pump inlet port on the block is shifted about a ½ inch off. So what I had to do was use a CLK 430 engine oil pump and transfer that in and use that. So it's kind of a hybrid. You can do that, or you can cut and kind of hack and weld not the S55 but the M113 non-supercharged oil pump. There's 3 variations of the oil pump for the M113 style block. That's the main thing there, so keep that in mind. But yeah, outside of that, the block is pretty much 98% identical, 95% identical. The crank journal brackets on the frontmost and rearmost of the block are the only 2 things that were different on the non-supercharged versus the supercharged. The supercharged has it where those crank journal brackets have a 4-bolt configuration, 2 from the under and 1 on each side, whereas the non-supercharged is only 2 bolts holding it in from the bottom, and that's it. There's no side bolts on the non-supercharged. But all the crank journals in between, crank journal brackets, 3 of them in between, are pretty much the same. But yeah, so this just goes to show that you can use a non-supercharged block for a supercharged motor. Transfer your supercharged items over. There are minor things to adjust, 2 areas of minor things, oil pump and those crank journal brackets front and back. But outside of that, keep in mind the actual non-supercharged block, this only works for 5.4 liters and the 5.0 liter non-supercharged M113 Mercedes engine. Not the 4 point whatever liter. Only 5.0 and 5.4 can you transfer the items from your supercharged over to non-supercharged. Alright everybody, so I've gotten the motor down to its bare bones here as shown before, and I'm basically just cleaning with Dawn dish soap and water on top, cleaning out all the grit. I'm using a brass brush. Use brass so it doesn't etch or scratch the aluminum. It's much weaker. Don't use anything steel or anything along those lines because it'll scuff up and mess up your aluminum block. Internally or externally. Yeah, don't use it. Use brass. This was 79 cents at Harbor Freight. I think 69 cents each, so I got like 2. Don't want any water to get into the camera, so here it goes. Hit me with the water hose. Clearing out all the gunk. Sitting there, well, who knows how long. Remember, this is 42,000 miles on this CLK 500 block. I need it for the clean and nice Alusil inner sleeves of the block. I'm missing a chunk. That chunk actually came off and got processed through the motor on my M113K. So this is a cheaper alternative than getting a whole nother M113K. Just get an M113 5.0 or 5.4 and take all the internals out. You just need the bare base block skeleton and transfer all your stuff over. Alright, that's what we're going to do here. That's what we're doing. Okay, I hope this shows it better to See the difference in the color change. It's not a uniform gray like it looks here. You can kind of see streaks where the cleaner pulled off. I guess that's the silicone portion that was bonded to the aluminum. So in the light here, you can kind of see it there, right there, where the degreaser. So if you get an engine with low mileage on it and it looks good, you don't need to put any degreaser or anything of that sort in these cylinders. And you can kind of see it here. Otherwise, you're going to need to lap them over again. All right. With the paste, there's a certain process. I saw it on a Porsche forum, and I'll give credit to the guy that listed it there. And he showed the before and after results, mainly the after results. Okay. But yeah. This is it. All I'm left with now is waiting for the wrench tool extension for the engine mounts. I need to order that. I don't have that. So yeah, that's all. All right, everybody. Happy New Year. What I'm going to show here, and I'm probably going to catch a lot of fire for this. It's 3 in the morning, by the way. Is how to lap your Mercedes engine block, the M113 or M113K cylinders that are Alusil material. Yeah, I'm following this little bit here. Hold on. I'm following this from a website, Porsche website, Renlist, do-it-yourself, Alusil cylinder lapping. Google DIY Alusil, A-L-U-S-I-L, cylinder lapping. The website is renlist.com. I want to thank the guys at this Porsche website forum. This is under the 924/931/944/951/968 forum. But yeah, I don't frequent the site. I just came across it a while ago, and it is awesome because it shows you how to do it yourself. Yeah. So here we go. I'm basically following the gentleman's instructions. Hold on. Back to the original. Yeah, there we go. That's it. Yes, correct. So he shows the before and the after of his Porsche Alusil engine. But the beauty of this is the Sunnen paste, Alusil reconditioning paste, AN-30 paste. I also have some of that too. I think it's about $70 online for a little can or so. But basically, let me pan back out. So I'm following what his instructions say, step by step. I've taped this three-stone cylinder honing tool with duct tape, 2 to 3 layers, to ensure that when I go through this process, let me show you. This is the tool I got, cylinder hone deglaser. Part number is right there. Cylinder hone deglaser, so that when I stick this in the cylinder, I'm going to hot glue the felt material, 2 layers around each head, and use the paste mixed with oil to kind of relap the cylinders on the engine. Alright, so I'm just going step by step the process and preparation beforehand. This is what we have here. Tape. Up next, I'm going to glue the felt as he recommends in the website, and we'll go and progress from there step by step. Everyone, here, let me just for the purpose of this video, let me pull in so you can see the list of items. Listed on this Alusil lapping deal. deglazing home, 1 quart of 15, 40. I got 5W40 Castrol Edge synthetic instead. It breaks it down your items. Torquey electric drill, it's all there. So, pan out so you can see. I went and I got the items here. Acetone, felt fabric, I think $6, $7, $5, $2, $8, and a bunch of shop towels, as well as duct tape, glue sticks, and glue gun to glue the felt that I'm going to cut out onto the ends of these 3-head homes. Okay, so I've securely duct taped 2 layers of duct tape to each of the 3 stone heads, honing heads. Now I'm going to cut out felt, wrap 2 layers as it's stated on the instructions in the message board. I'm going to cut out from here and just hot glue it on the inside and wrap it around 2 layers as such. The duct tape is to protect, as he stated. If this felt does come off, the duct tape's going to be the sacrificial lamb, so as the stone heads do not score up your Alusil cylinders. I went over these probably about 3 times, 2 on one, 3 on the other 2, just for good measure. But yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and cut this down like so, leaving some excess above and beneath the actual stone head. what I got here is I finished, pardon me, my voice, I'm a little under the weather, but I finished with the felt wrappings over the cylinder hone, reading on the Renlist do-it-yourself Alusil cylinder lapping page. He recommends before you start installing or putting this into the cylinder to lap it, oil these this felt cloth material up with some of the motor oil that's on the list. Also, he says every cylinder go around, the cleaner these are, the better it is at lapping. So one set of felt, 1, 2, 3, wrap twice around, or 2 layers around each of these 3 prongs. He said to do that basically 1 set per cylinder. So after I do the first cylinder, if this, according to him, I should get rid of this and put a second wrap on for the second cylinder. If this looks good enough, I may just carry on to the second cylinder. I've also pre-cut a few layers out for the upcoming cylinders and such. And I'm going to use this old washed out block model. I'm going to cut it down this portion here and use it to mix the AMG paste with some oil, a few capfuls of oil like he recommends. Hold on, let me give credit to the user. Like the user Doug S951S recommends. He did this himself. Hold on. This is not my findings. If you look here, I want to give credit where it's due. Doug S951S. Type in that title. Focus. Do-it-yourself Alusil cylinder lapping into Google and let Google pull it up for you. It's on renlist.com. Alright. Google, Yahoo, whichever search engine you use. Alright, here we go. Here we go for the cutting. Sorry, didn't mean to kick the camera, but this will be my mixing bowl. I'm gonna get the water out of it and mix some oil, a few capfuls of oil with a glob or some globs of the AN30 paste. And this is the AN30 silicone compound from Sunnen and Goodson. Is there a part number? Come on, focus. Part number is, yeah, just number AN30. Alright. And there are instructions. Yeah, there are directions. Hold on. Let me put those in the video so you guys can, the directions right here. Stir contents thoroughly. Number 2, apply compound generously to entire cylinder wall and to Sunnen felt set. I'm using these felt, brown felt cloth materials instead. Condition the cylinder as explained in the instructions provided with the Sunnen felt set. We're going to follow it according to what the gentleman Doug S951S recommended and followed on his do-it-yourself tutorial. Alright, first things first, I'm going to show you a mock setup on the M113 block. So what I have here is the actual block turned upside down. Crank removed, just the bare block, okay? Now the oil squirters that would be here, I put one back by hand, but the oil squirters that would sit there, I removed. And I made sure to put the, backing out, the nut or screw bolt, not nut, the screw bolt, yeah, back in place. I always do that every time I remove a bolt or a screw. Take the part off, I put it back in its place so I don't lose them or mix them up. If at all times I can, I try and do that. Or I put it in a bag and label it. But so I have them here. They're I'll put that back in. You can see they're all screwed in. And in a second, but what I wanted to show was that was a, hold on, let me get the socket off. I believe it was a T30. Yeah, T30. And I'm going to pick it up and verify. T30 is loose, but yeah, I took it off with a T30. Hold up. I'm sorry, T40. T40, take that back. It was a T40, not T30. Star set to get that off. Okay. And so if I go over here, I have the others sitting right there. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is, okay, got that in. Try and get a good shot of my mock setup. And I do this because I want to minimize editing as little as possible. If I make a mistake, I want to learn from my mistakes so you can see my mistake and not do it. That's my general mindset with approaching these helpful videos. Alright, so I'm screwing the screw bolt back in place so I don't lose it. Putting the squirter over here. Okay, so now here's my thoughts on how I'm going to approach this. I'm going to do it from the bottom. As you can see here, as I showed earlier, the felt has been put on, hasn't been oiled. I also taped up with duct tape the outer portion of these arms. Used a blade and sliced down the middle so that this black plate can still come up as you close the three arms. So I'll sit it in here like so. I have to be very careful when I start this process so as to not nick. Here, let me show you. There's a sharp etched out portion in the block. If you look here, pulling up, not as it's spinning, not to catch on these edges. Right there. So take that into consideration. Serious consideration when doing this. Alright, can we get a better angle? Hold on. There we go. I think that's better. Yeah. Much better. Okay. Okay, so you can kind of see it in there as it's spinning. I'm going to be paying close attention to not come too far. And I think the gentleman said 2 cycles, 1 to 2 cycles per second. I think 2 cycles. But I'll go through the whole instructions in a bit. But I'm just showing you the mock-up before anything. I've never done this before. This is my first time. I'm going to be using this drill. That's what I have. I'll try and keep it at a low speed of 250 around there RPM, estimating. But I cut out a piece of cardboard. Why? Because that's going to be a guide right here, and I'll explain in a bit. There's still some oil on here. Okay. So when this is in here like so, I'll have this tighten, of course, right, like it is. Put it in place, and it will help me slide the drill without getting caught on the ridge, the edge of the drill getting caught on the ridge here and jumping. So it'll keep it nice and smooth, and you got to be careful too, like I just did here, not to push too far through. So you got to pay close attention. So now I'm closing it up on the other end. That's why I'm mocking this up, to kind of gauge how far I can't go. and I'm looking at it right here, seeing with my eye. You can't see at that angle, but I can see all the way through and see just how far I need to go before it gets kicked out. Let's see how close this comes here. So this is gonna be, it's gonna be interesting. Yeah, all right. As far as the felt, my interests are about an inch in. I can see already from factory where the Alusil sleeve base is. So I may not need to come up as high as I am in this demo run. We'll see, but this is a mock-up. My concern is this, hitting that. As I spin it, I may even do it at an angle because it can flex like this with the drill. So I can avoid that as it's spinning. Yeah, well, we need about 2.5 minutes. 2 runs, total combined 2.5 minutes. And I need to see the durations between each run. They're not equal as far as time. All right, this is the mock-up. All right. So here I have the AN30 silicone compound. 5W40 synthetic motor oil. Castrol edge. I picked 5W40 on the actual Ren list board tutorial. The gentleman utilized 15W40 because that's what he had. I just bought this. I wanted something maybe not as thick. And so here we go. I'm going to get a gob of this silicone AN30 compound paste out of here. Alright, if you want to take a look, that's what it looks like. Hold on. Yeah, very thick. And some capfuls of oil. I'll use my flathead to do this. I don't have anything disposable to get this out. So here it goes. Let me make sure I'm in the camera angle. There we go. Alright. I got some of it there. Alright, so I'll work with this right now. He says, I think he said he can do 2 or 3 motors. Where he's at now, knowing what he knows, he can do 2 or 3 motors with 1 can of this paste. Using it sparingly. Alright, so I'm gonna cap this again. Cap this paste. Make sure I'm in camera. Okay, yeah. Alright. I'll securely close it with a mallet, rubber mallet later. Alright, push that there to the side. Now he mentioned a few capfuls of oil to mix it, thin it out. So I'll start with, I'll do it one at a time. I'm leaning towards 2, but I'll try 1 capful at a time and stir it up. Alright. This is a larger cap than the usual. I think this is what they all go with now. Alright, so yeah, I'm gonna need more than this, but alright, so I'm mixing it up. Can I get in closer? Just doing this to help you guys out there with this stuff. There you go. So you can see, I'll hold it. Kind of thin it out. I guess one of these large caps is more than enough, maybe, because now it's starting to really thin out. Okay, cool. Good, 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 good. That large cap, maybe half of that might have been enough. It's kind of thin, but we'll see as we apply it to the Alusil motor.
So sleeve block, and just see how it all pans out. All this to help you guys at home solve and find an alternative, a do-it-yourself alternative. We'll see how this goes. I'll be the guinea pig. I hope it goes well. So I spent a lot of effort in disassembling that $400 M113 block from the CLK 500. Alright, so let me back out so I can show you the consistency of, I don't know if you can see how its consistency is now. Yeah, there we go. So you can kind of see at home. Alright, so this is what's going to be applied to the inside of the Alusil cylinder sleeve walls, whatever you want to call it. Alright, so that was one cap, this size cap, filled to the top almost practically, to make this. Alright, so on to the next step. Alright, peoples, what's next, I'm going to oil up these felt, 3 felt legs of this holding device with oil. But before that, what just came to mind is this. I want to show. Yes, remember how I had a concern about these 2 corners here? Right there, 1, 2. As I'm going to be doing this lapping, I cut off a piece of cardboard. I taped slick tape, packaging tape on the one side. I'm actually gonna, let me see if I can get it for you, then show you. You look what I'm doing here. I'm putting the side without the tape up against these 2 points, like so, kind of bending it in. I'm gonna fold this over and I'm gonna tape it over that side over here with duct tape to hold it in place while I do this. So that slick tape part, the 3 honing legs or arms with the felt and oil will be rubbing up against this slick packaging tape. It won't get caught on those 2 little edges right there of the block, okay? But first things first, I'm gonna show, keep in mind I've never done this, so, but I'm gonna oil up a little bit of oil on these legs here. I'm going to use this old sponge to apply the paste to the inside of the cylinder. Just dab it on there. I'm not going to use the sponge to rub it in. No. I'm only using it to make paste touch the block. That's it. This will be what's actually going to be smoothing the paste over the actual, might be too much oil. No, it's not. Over the actual cylinder. I'm not sure how to go about this because this is my first time as far as applying this oil, but I'll do my best right now. Let me see. I don't want to do it. I want to keep that dry in a cardboard piece or guide. Okay. Yeah, it's absorbing. Good. Good. Right. Maybe on the corners too. Get some oil in there, so there's not too much friction, as the poster of this method indicated on that run list post. We'll see the results. I will be a guinea pig, I guess. Do this, and I'm only doing this. The motor actually came out cool when I took all the parts off, not paying attention because I wanted to hurry up and clean it faster. I used simple green, which I don't think was the issue, and then another degreaser, some orange degreaser, orange citrus, and I think that was what pulled some of this. It made the cylinders look different. I'll just put it that way. They weren't the uniform, smooth, dull finish of an Alusil lapped or relatively fresh motor. made them look different to where there were, I can see the lines where the degreaser ran down the cylinder walls. It dripped down versus the portions where it didn't. So I was like, okay, I think that orange citrus degreaser pulled some stuff from the actual walls of the Alusil, which leads me to why I am now going through this process right now. So I have this oiled up. I have my AM30 cylinder paste mixed with oil. Let me put this back on so it doesn't spill. And I'm gonna set up this rig, this cardboard setup on the actual block. Get my extension cord, and let's get cracking. All right.